Welcome back, MTN Giants podcast. We're just a couple days away. It's almost that time, week one. The first real game was played last night, KC and Detroit. And for Giants fans that hate on the former Giants first round pick in 2021, that was a sight to see. I mean, Kadarius Toney, pick six was caused because of him. Two other drops, just an awful game from him. But a fun game overall, and I picked the Lions in my pool, so I feel good. 1-0, great start to the year. But anyway, we're going to do the Giants-Cowboys preview, of course. I will try to do this weekly. I'm not going to 100% commit to doing that, but hopefully on Fridays or Saturdays I can get these out. This one should be out by Friday night, Saturday morning at the latest. But we'll do the game previews for the Giants and then just quickly go through the rest of the NFL schedule, make some quick picks, maybe spread picks. Maybe pick them straight up. I don't know. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave in the comments your score prediction for the Giants on Sunday, and let's get into it. So, of course, Sunday Night Football, Giants are home. Dallas is still favored by 3.5 last time I checked, which I guess is fair. I can't hate on that too much. The Giants have not had much success versus Dallas in recent years, unfortunately. So, Dallas is actually 11-1 versus the Giants since 2017, and that one win by the Giants came in the 2020 season. Andy Dalton was starting for the Cowboys, so it's kind of like a BS win anyway. But yeah, just a lot of tough moments versus Dallas recently. I still remember week 1 in 2016 very fondly. That was awesome. Terrence Williams staying in bounds, but a lot of bad memories after that playing Dallas, and there's been some other games versus them in week 1s where there was the year after the Giants' second Super Bowl, well, fourth technically, but second in my lifetime. So the 2012 season opener, I remember that was a tough loss. The freaking Kevin Ogletree guy had 3 touchdowns out of nowhere. And then there was 2015, which might have been the worst of them all. That was when Jason Witten had the game-winning touchdown with 8 seconds to go in the game, so that was tough, but a lot of heartbreakers versus Dallas. The biggest thing for the Cowboys this offseason, in my opinion at least, of course they added some guys, lost some guys, but the biggest thing for them was moving on from their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who went to the Chargers. Now, Kellen Moore had the Cowboys offense cooking. I don't know why they let him go. Maybe it was because of the lack of playoff success, but I don't think you can pin that on Kellen Moore. The Cowboys actually averaged 27.7 points per game from 2019 to 2022 when Kellen Moore was calling plays. That was the second most points per game in the NFL behind the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that's freaking awesome. So for the Cowboys to let that guy go, it's a little puzzling, but we'll see if that works out for them. Of course, taking his place as the play caller now is the Cowboys head coach, Mike McCarthy. And, of course, he called plays in Green Bay plenty of times, and I think even before that he was with the Saints back in the day as the OC. So the guy has experience, but still, I mean, this is a big transition possibly. We'll see how they react to it. Now, in fairness to Dallas, as much as we like to, shit on them for their shortcomings in the playoffs, Dallas is only one of 2 teams in the NFL the past 2 seasons to have at least 12 wins. It's them and also, once again, Kansas City. So in the regular season, this team has been very good, so you can't take that lightly. We know about the playoffs once again, but they still have the same defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. He's been great since being in Dallas. Dallas was 6th best in points allowed per game last season, and the year before that in 2021, they were the 7th best defense in points allowed per game. So obviously Dan Quinn has had a great defense since being there. I'm sure the pick of Micah Parsons has helped out a lot, but they have a lot of talent there as well. There are 2 big free agent acquisitions, and I think one of them was a trade, right? I forget now, but they got Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. Of course, Cooks has 6 1,000-yard seasons in his career. In 2021, a couple years ago, Cooks had 90 catches, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Stephon Gilmore missed time last year, but when he's played, he's been great. So when he's healthy, he's been really good. He's 32, 33 now, so maybe he falls off a bit, but he is the cornerback too. He doesn't have to be the cornerback 1 because of Trayvon Diggs, so that helps him out a lot. But Dallas did lose some guys. Dalton Schultz to Houston. Zeke went to the Patriots. It's a new play caller once again, so that could, maybe take a bit to get used to. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same thing in Dallas. They're still considered one of the best teams in the NFC. I don't want to say NFL, but especially NFC because it's definitely the weaker conference. Most people you ask will say there's a big 3 in the NFC, and it's the Eagles, it's the Niners, and it's the Cowboys. So, as I said in a tweet recently, if the Giants can get this win and get off to a 1-0 start, and then face the Arizona Cardinals in week 2, which I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but if they win this game, you have 2-0 staring at you right in the face. So it would be very nice to win this one. But I guess on the bright side, right? If they were to lose this game, which the spread indicates they will, but if they were to lose this game, you play the worst team in football the following week. So hopefully, at worst, the Giants are 1-1. But I would love to be 2-0, obviously. That would be fantastic. For the Giants offense, I mean, I always start with the offense. I got to stick with that. We always start with the offense. But the run defense in Dallas isn't much improved. They got the first-round pick, Mozzie Smith, out of Michigan, known as a run stopper. He'll be a day-one starter, of course. And Dallas's defense was probably one of the worst parts about their team in the past couple years. They were bottom half in run defense last year, so they did a good job, I believe, last year of stopping Saquon Barkley. I know Saquon had the big run against them in week 3 for the touchdown, but I feel like outside of that, Saquon did not do much versus Dallas last year. And Dallas usually has that game plan of like just make the Giants passing game beat us, which may bode well for the Giants now as compared to the past, because the Giants obviously have better receivers now than they've had the past 2 years. And we'll talk about the Darren Waller injury that popped up today. That was kind of scary to see. I don't know if it's a real injury. I really don't. Like I'm kind of feeling like, is this like a 3D chess type move from Brian Dable, or is this like a real injury? I don't know, because we know Darren Waller's had hamstring issues in the past. So that is concerning. I do think he plays. I'd be surprised if he's out, because like I feel like this came out of nowhere. Like Darren Waller was healthy the entire training camp, preseason. Then of course the Friday 2 days before the actual regular season, it pops up that Darren Waller has a hamstring injury. And hopefully it's not that bad. I still think he plays, but we'll see how serious that is. But yeah, does Dallas respect the Giants' pass game? That's what it's going to come down to. If the Giants can't pass the ball, they're not going to win this game. You can't rely on Saquon Barkley against an elite defense like this that also has a good offense, and Dallas definitely has a good offense. You can't rely on Saquon Barkley to single-handedly win you this game. Like, the Giants' passing game needs to do something. They need to have big explosive plays, hopefully from Slayton, hopefully from Hyatt. Unfortunately, Wan'Dale Robinson's doubtful for this game, which is not much of a surprise. I was thinking most of the offseason that he was not going to be ready for week 1. And I think, like, if this was a playoff game, maybe he could have played, but I think they want to just take, precaution. He was a second-round pick a year ago, so just take it easy. No need to rush him back. But once again, you have more explosive playmakers on offense. Paris Campbell, I forgot to mention. So hopefully the Giants can at least open up this Dallas defense if they were to stack the box and just make themselves two-dimensional and not totally Saquon Barkley reliant. That's not what you want. Now, of course, Dallas does have a really good secondary. I mentioned Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, who they just got, Jaron Kearse, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker. They have guys. Like, they have a lot of good players back there. So passing against them is not the easiest thing in the world. They still have their pass rushers, Lawrence, Parsons, as I mentioned, Mozzie Smith in the first round, Odighizuwa still there. Like, they have guys, obviously. So this defense, names-wise, roster-wise, even coaching-wise with Dan Quinn, is a very good defense. Like, it's definitely no joke in Dallas. So that part's a bit scary, but I would say the linebacking core is probably the most iffy part about Dallas's defense. Leighton Vander Esch is still there. He's still healthy right now, but the guys playing next to him, I don't know much about. So I'm not really that concerned about that. That might be the weakest point of that defense. So if you can get Darren Waller in some mismatches, that might be your key to moving the ball. Of course, Dallas can put a safety or even a corner on him and see if that works out better. And I'm also curious to see, how does the Giants' offensive line hold up? There was that report today that came out that the Giants do have 2 starting guards, but Brian Dable did not mention which guards they were. I mean, it seems like based on the reports from the preseason and stuff, that's probably going to be Mark Lewinsky and Ben Bredesen. I could be wrong, but that just seems like that was like their main offensive line unit from the preseason in most cases and training camp. So I want to see Evan Neal. How does he look against a really good pass rush? That's definitely going to be big for this game. I feel like Evan Neal could either win the Giants this game or lose the Giants this game. Like, his role in this game is going to be just massive. If Neal has one of those bad games like he had in his rookie year, this might be a rough game for the Giants. I got to be honest. But if he's great and comes out in year 2 and looks awesome right away, that's going to give Jones more time and give the receivers more time to get open, and it may work out perfectly. So hopefully Evan Neal looks a lot better this year. Of course, John Michael Schmitz against Mozzie Smith, so rookie on rookie. That's going to be interesting, but hopefully JMS is okay. I don't think he'll be like a stud right out the gate, but hopefully he's fine. And of course, Andrew Thomas, no concerns there at all. The Giants defense, the thing that concerns me with their defense is they have two rookies starting in the secondary. Of course, Trey Hawkins and of course, Deonte Banks. Probably on the outside, because what I think will happen, and I could be wrong once again, but I think what could happen here is I think CeeDee Lamb goes in the slot, and then you put Adoree Jackson in the slot most times to follow him. And we've seen that in the past, how sometimes Adoree Jackson will follow CeeDee Lamb in these matchups. I feel like CeeDee definitely got the best of him in week 3 last year. He had that great one-handed catch, I think, from Cooper Rush in the back of the end zone. And of course, Adoree had those quotes about like being willing to play slot corner if it's better for the team. Like, he's a team-first guy. I like that about him. But outside corners, I mean, they're going to be guarding Michael Gallup and the newly acquired Brandon Cooks, which is a bit of a concern. Like, two rookies against two good receivers. I mean, of course, Cooks is better than Gallup, but assuming Brandon Cooks hasn't fallen off yet, and he's still 29, 30 years old, so he's not like that old. But, having one of your rookie corners guard him for an entire game, it's a little concerning, so definitely a big task right away. A really good passing offense here for Dallas, so those guys have to be up for the task. Dallas has had some injuries on the offensive line. It seemed like they were going to be healthy, but once the injury reports came out this week, we found out that Tyler Smith, who's probably going to be left guard because now Tyrone Smith is back, he'll be back at left tackle, but Tyrone Smith was also limited on Thursday with an ankle injury. We'll see if he plays. He played 4 games last year, so he missed a lot of time last season. But if they're healthy, their offensive line's still really good. I mean, Dallas definitely has one of the better offensive line units in football. But if, they have a starter or two missing, that can be big. They don't have the most offensive line depth, but it should be a battle in the trenches. I mean, you have the newly acquired A'Shawn Robinson for the Giants. Of course, you have Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams and Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari. There's a lot of good pass rushing talent and guys that can get in the backfield and hopefully blow up some plays, get to Dak Prescott. But once again, Dallas has a really good offensive line when healthy, so that's a big concern about this game as well. But it's two very good units going, against each other, and we'll see who gets the best out of each other in this matchup. The Cowboys' running game is interesting here because this is the first time without Zeke. Well, I guess since that one time he was suspended for like 6 games, and they gave it to who was playing? I think Alfred Morris was at that time, former Giant. He played everywhere, right? The Giants and he was on the Redskins at the time. He was playing for the Giants, Dallas. He was on 3 teams in the division. So, no Zeke for the first time in a while though, and you're gonna have Tony Pollard playing this featured back role. Of course, they'll put Rico Dowdle, I think his name is, in at some points. They'll put Deuce Vaughn, the 5'5", 5'6" receiving back. He'll play at some points as well. But it seems like this will be the Tony Pollard show. Pollard is very talented, of course. We have not seen him get the lion's share of the carries yet in the Cowboys backfield. He's had some games where Zeke missed, but for the most part, he hasn't had a full season of that yet. But it is week 1. We'll see how much the Cowboys lean on Pollard, but he is very talented and definitely make some plays in the receiving game. So that part's scary. He can just, pretty much break the game open with one good run. So that's definitely something they got to watch out for. I'm excited for Isaiah Simmons. That's going to be big for this Giants defense, is watching Isaiah Simmons, where he plays, what he does. Do they use him as a blitzer more? Do they use him to guard tight ends or even slot receivers? What do they make him do? So I'm going to definitely keep my eyes on number 19 during this matchup and see where Don Martindale puts him on defense throughout this. And I do think he'll have a role for this team, obviously. They did not trade for him for nothing. Sure, it was only a 7th round pick, but they would not have went out and got him and made him take up a roster spot if they were not going to use him. So they're going to use him. It just depends where, how, what type of impact he makes, and I'm definitely excited to see what happens there. And usually, I mean, this could be because it's week 1, of course, but usually I have a feel for who I think is going to win this game or win any Giants game. I don't have much of a feel. I've heard both arguments about, people think the Giants will come out and beat Dallas and surprise them. And then other people think, well, Dallas, they have the Giants number. They know how to beat them. They've never beaten Dak, I believe. So there's all that going on as well. I don't know who to pick. I really don't. I do think the Giants will stay in this game. I don't see a Dallas blowout. I don't see a Giants blowout, but that'd be great. I just think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to, who makes the more mistakes, who can make the big play at the right time, who converts more on third down, just those type of things. Like, I think this will be a very close game throughout. One thing I will say, and I do think, this is definitely new for the Giants because they have not had this in years past. I mean, of course, last year too, because they had the same coaching staff, but the Giants coaching staff will definitely put them in the best position to succeed. So that's something I couldn't really say about the Ben McAdoo Giants and the Tom Coughlin sometimes, and Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge. Like, this coaching staff is going to have everything figured out. They're going to know what Dallas wants to do, and we'll just see if the players can execute. That's what it's going to come down to. It feels like a 27-23 type score or something like that, and I just don't know which team's going to be on top. I really have no idea. So I don't know. I think they could win this game, though. I have, some positive vibes about this one. I feel like the Giants are up for this, and I feel like this is their best chance to beat Dallas in a long time. So I hope they can get that done. I did not mention the full injury report, so let me read it off real quickly. Cordell Flott, Javarius Owens, Wan'Dale Robinson, I mentioned, they're doubtful. Questionable is DJ Davidson, Darren Waller, who we mentioned, and Cam Brown. So hopefully Cam Brown could be out there on special teams, and, Cordell Flott, I don't know. He probably won't play at this point, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, they were not going to rely on him much anyway, so the injuries are not terrible. I want to see Dallas's injuries quickly and see what the most up-to-date injury report for Dallas is. So for Dallas, Donovan Wilson and Tyler Smith are doubtful for this game. That's pretty big. You lose a guy in the secondary, you lose your starting left guard. That's definitely big. So Dallas definitely has some guys that are important that are going to miss this game potentially. We'll see if they play. I guess the extra few hours on Sunday may help. It may not. We'll see. So screw it. Let's be optimistic here. I say the Giants win this one 27-23. As I said, I really don't have a feel for it, but as a Giants fan, we're going to say Giants win, so we'll go with that. All right, we'll go through the rest of week 1 quickly and just pick some games against the spread. That's what we'll do. First one is the Panthers at the Falcons, and I actually like the Falcons a lot this year. I've made a couple of videos about them. Definitely in on the Falcons this year. Atlanta minus 3.5, which not the biggest spread, but I'll still pick the Falcons here. I heard a stat that no rookie first overall quarterback has won their first start since 2002, something crazy like that. And I think that was David Carr, actually. So hopefully Bryce Young does not switch that trend. So I will take the Falcons to win that one, probably a low-scoring game too. The Bengals at the Browns, definitely interesting here. We'll see what the Browns look like in the first actual full year of Deshaun Watson. I think their ceiling's very high, but they have a very low floor as well. Could be a big year for Kevin Stefanski. Joe Burrow back and paid very nicely now. Got a new contract. It is Bengals minus 1.5 on the road. I guess I'll go with Cincinnati. I don't feel great about that one, but I feel like Cincy could win by a field goal or something like that. So give me the Bengals, but definitely will be a close game in my opinion. Jaguars at the Colts. The Jaguars are 4.5-point favorites on the road. Not a surprise there, given the Colts roster and Richardson's first start could be very raw. And of course, Richardson showed some great flashes in the preseason, but just a lot of throws that definitely need some work. Too much mustard on some passes that get tipped up and some bad decisions. So I will take Jacksonville. 4.5 seems a bit close, so that's kind of weird, but maybe they expect the Colts to be very up and ready for this game. First game for Shane Steichen as the head coach for the Colts, so maybe that goes into it as well. But I would think Jacksonville, they're well coached. They have a year 3 quarterback who is awesome. Is he in year 3, right? 21, 22, yeah, right, 20, yeah. Year 3. It doesn't feel right. I don't know why, but yeah, year 3, Trevor Lawrence, yes, that's correct. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota favored by 5.5 at home. Not a surprise there, really. I don't know. It really depends on Tampa's defense, because I think Tampa can put up points, and Minnesota's defense really sucks. I'm going to take Tampa plus 5.5. I think Minnesota wins the game by 3 or 4, but I'll take Tampa to cover the spread. I think 5.5 is too much when your defense is that bad for the Vikings. I mean, maybe they added Brian Flores, I believe, so maybe that helps out a lot, but I just don't think they have the talent on the roster right now. So yeah, I'll take the Bucks. I mean, I made a bold prediction video that's actually coming out tomorrow probably, and there's a Baker Mayfield bold prediction in there comparing him to a guy from last year. So I'm not going to give it all away, but I could see Tampa having a pretty good offense this year. It's not impossible. This one's good. Tennessee at New Orleans. Saints are a -3, so pretty much it's telling you that they're equal teams on paper, which I think is kind of true. Like, I'm not a big Saints guy, but they do play in a terrible division. I don't know. I'm definitely going to be rooting for the Saints because I have so many Saints in fantasy this year. Like, I have Olave on multiple teams. I have Thomas on a team. Kamara's out, but I have Jamal Williams on multiple teams. Like, I have so many Saints on my team, so I will definitely root for the Saints to win. But my brain is telling me to pick the Titans. I think the Titans could win this game. They're back and healthy now for the most part. Ryan Tannehill's back and healthy, and I think they're much better coached as compared to Dennis Allen, who I don't think is a good head coach. So I'll take Tennessee +3, and I think they'll win the game outright. Here's one. This is a good game as well. San Francisco at Pittsburgh. San Fran -2.5 on the road. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I love the Steelers. I am not hiding that whatsoever. I love Pittsburgh this year. San Fran definitely has a lot of questions in my opinion. I don't know if George Kittle's going to play in this one. He's had a groin injury. And Pittsburgh, I feel like everything's gone right for them. The preseason, they look tremendous. Mike Tomlin's still the coach, so nothing's changing there. They'll be a really good team this year. I think they could be like a dark horse team this year. I do have them making the playoffs as a 7 seed in my playoff prediction video, but I like the Pittsburgh Steelers a lot. I think they win the game outright, so I'm taking them +2.5. Arizona, the possible laughingstock of the league. They are at Washington. I thought this game was at Arizona the entire week, so that's new news to me. So at FedEx Field, touchdown favorites for the Commanders. If this was in Arizona, I feel like I would have taken the Cardinals. But since this one's at Washington, I guess I'll take Washington -7. It's like the second career start for Sam Howell. Obviously, his first, week 1 start. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Arizona, like, their defense is so bad. Like, worse than the Vikings even. So if Sam Howell's competent, which I think he is, I'm not positive, but I think he is, Washington should win this one by a lot. So I'll take them -7. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are -10. The big thing here is Mark Andrews, the talented tight end for Baltimore. I don't know if he's going to play. There's been like a very weird undisclosed injury when it comes to him. Nobody knows if he's going to play or not. Maybe they know in the building, but I have not seen like reports about it. But I'll take Baltimore -10. They always beat bad teams by a lot, and that's what they do. I feel like John Harbaugh teams always beat the crap out of bad teams. So I will take Baltimore -10. First start for CJ Stroud, obviously, so we'll see how that goes. But I feel like Houston's going to have a tough time getting some offense, and Lamar Jackson's in a new offense, and they should be airing the ball out more. And hopefully Mark Andrews is healthy. But yeah, give me Baltimore -10. Green Bay on the road at Chicago. Two teams that I think are very similar, probably in like the same tier in my opinion, right around each other talent-wise. The Bears are favored by 1.5. Big injury news. Christian Watson was ruled out for this game, the talented Packers wide receiver in year 2. So I don't love the Bears. I've said that before in my other videos, but I guess I'll take them in this game. I mean, they're the home team. Green Bay's missing one of its better weapons, as I mentioned, so I guess I'll go Chicago. Don't love it, but give me the Bears -1.5. Las Vegas at Denver. Talk about a freaking snooze fest. Denver -3.5. I want like if it was 2.5, I'd probably just pick the Raiders, but 3.5, I don't know. That's a tough one. It really is. That's a very tough one. I'm gonna take Denver. They're the home team. It's tough to play there. I think the Raiders are very bad. Like, they'll be a top 5 pick in my opinion. I think they really suck. So give me Denver -3.5, but I don't love them that much overall this year. This spread's kind of weird. So the Eagles are on the road at the Patriots. Only a -4 for Philly, who, of course, is one of the better teams in the NFL. I do think the Patriots have a better year than last year. I actually don't think I predicted it that way. I think I have the Patriots down for like 7 wins. Because I think that division is very tough and the conference is tough. So I think on the field, play-wise, they'll be better, but maybe not record-wise, if that makes sense. And I kind of feel the same way about the Giants this year. But I guess, I mean, It's a weird spread. It's a very weird spread. I guess I'll take Philly. I mean, call me a sucker, but I'll take Philly -4. New England's defense is awesome. Maybe that's why I just think the Patriots offense will have trouble scoring on Philly's defense. I could be missing something here. It seems fishy, but give me the Eagles -4. This is always fun. The Tua versus Herbert battles. Dolphins at the Chargers. Chargers -3. So a pretty even matchup here. I feel like a lot of people are taking the Dolphins, but I do like the Chargers more this year. I had the Dolphins missing the playoffs, and a lot of that's because of Tua's health and things like that. Jalen Ramsey being out too. I don't trust that team health-wise overall. So I will take the Chargers while they're healthy because they'll get hurt at some point. So I'll just take the Chargers now. They are the home team. Not that that matters for them too much because they don't have many fans, but I will take Los Angeles because I think they're the better team. The Los Angeles Rams, this is a weird spread too. Rams on the road at Seattle. Seattle's only favored by 4.5. Kind of weird, right? The Rams don't have Cooper Kupp. They just have nothing good on that team. Their offensive line stinks. They have like the youngest team in the league. Bunch of undrafted guys playing. The Rams are really bad. So I don't know. I don't know why this is only 4.5. I mean, I'm not gonna try and outguess myself or outsmart myself here. I'll take Seattle -4.5, but that's a very sketchy spread. It really is. I would stay away from that game personally. Dallas at the Giants. I'm taking the Giants, as I mentioned, +3.5. Even if the Giants lost by a field goal, I would still win the spread. So I mean, hey, I guess that's a good thing. Buffalo at the Jets. So this should be interesting, of course. I guess MetLife's being used in back-to-back days, huh? So MetLife on Sunday night, MetLife on Monday night. Interesting there for the. Do they call them grounds crew like baseball? What do they call the people that set up the field? I don't know what they're called. So maybe grounds crew, the field maintenance people. I don't know. But anyway, the Bills are favored by 2.5 on the road. A lot of newness with the Jets. The Bills have way more continuity. I think maybe later in the season, if this was the matchup, I'd pick the Jets. But since it's week 1, and I'm not going to buy into the Hard Knocks hype and things like that. I do love Aaron Rodgers, as you guys know, but I'm going to take the Bills -2.5. I think they win this game. I feel like it's either a Bills blowout or a very tight win for the Bills. I don't know. Of course, the Jets could win, and I don't want to count them out completely, but I just feel like with the continuity and all that stuff, I feel like the Bills should win this game. So that'll do it. The Giants Week 1 preview, NFL Week 1 picks in the books. I'll talk to you guys on Sunday night. Maybe Monday morning by that point, but hopefully Sunday night. I don't want it to go too late, but hopefully we'll be reacting to a Giants win on Sunday night. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.